Guys, we're going to talk about marriage and family life in these next two sections. All right, real quick. So, marriage is very instrumental because it's marking an Aztec's child's life into adulthood, and we're seeing that men typically get married around 20, women are getting married around 16. That age 16 is actually quite a few years later than what we typically see in cultures like this or that we've learned about. The marriages are arranged by a matchmaker, and mostly, typically, by the families of the bride and groom. So this was not a chosen marriage by the bride and the groom. The matchmaker, think of like Mulan. So you have like an older woman who comes to the bride's family, is trying to negotiate a deal. Okay, it's customary in this Aztec culture for a first, like the bride's family, to play hard to get and to refuse, and then the matchmaker will go back a few days later. This time, the family is accepting the union and setting the dowry. I've highlighted dowry for you. You've heard me say that word before. It's the money or even goods that the woman's family is bringing to her husband upon marriage. Okay, we've seen dowries be set up and made all the way through modern times. So this was something interesting enough that all cultures used. So weddings are a very elaborate and very big deal, even amongst commoners. A lot of festivities beginning at the bride's house, where the people of that ward, that Kalpuli, is enjoying a banquet. They're giving her presents, etc. Then at night, the guests march to the groom's house for the ceremony. That matchmaker is carrying the bride on her back, which is very unusual. To symbolize the bond of marriage, the matchmaker will tie the groom's cloak to the bride's shirt. Then they go to a bridal chamber to pray for 4 days while their guests are actually still celebrating. So 4 days they're having this big party. And then on the 5th day, the couple can come out of prayer, and then they have another big celebration, a big banquet, before they settle down on their very own piece of land on the groom's Kalpuli, so like in his ward. Men were allowed to practice polygamy, which means that he could have multiple wives. An Aztec man could take as many wives as he could afford. However, there was always going to be that primary wife, and only marriage to the primary wife was celebrated with like this big ceremony that we just talked about. So, if you are unhappy in a marriage, either spouse could actually ask for a divorce, which again is something unusual that we see in this type of culture. A man could divorce his wife if she doesn't do the things that she's supposed to do at home, like cleaning or taking care of the children, or if she has a bad temper, which is funny, so if she's just mean, or if she actually can't have children of her own. And then a woman could divorce her husband if he is abusive to her, if he just picks up and leaves her, or if he doesn't financially provide support for her or the children that she has. If you are divorced, they actually encourage you, women specifically, to remarry, which is interesting. So that's information about marriage. And then for family life, just a few things I want to highlight for you guys. Men, as we see, again, a lot of different societies that we're learning about, they have a higher status than women. And the father, so like the oldest male, is typically going to be the master of the house. But the women did have their own rights and responsibilities. So if you were a married woman, you can own property and you can sell goods. Or if you were an older woman in the ward, then you could be a matchmaker, or you could be a midwife, who is someone who just helps deliver babies. So if you are a commoner, both men and women really are a little bit more considered equal because they have to both take care of the house and the family. So the men build the house, they work on the farms. Women are fixing meals, tending to the garden, looking after livestock. They wove beautiful cloth of many colors, different cloaks with a lot of cool sun designs on it, images of shells and fish and cacti, snakes, butterflies. They could trade these goods at the market. But one of the most important things that a woman is doing is having children and caring for those children. They believed that the purpose of marriage is to bring children into the world, so they really honored a woman's role in giving birth as the same way that they honor a man's role in fighting in wars. So, parents begin training children at a very young age to help out around the house. Young boys are gathering wood, fetching water. Older boys are learning how to fish, learning how to handle a canoe. Boys will accompany their father to work or go to the market. Girls are focusing on running a house, cleaning a house, grinding up the corn for tortillas. When they're about 7, then the girls begin to learn the whole weaving process. All boys attend school. Commoners start around the age of 6, but they only attend part-time. So there is this name, Telpokalali, House of the Youth. This is where boys are training to be soldiers. The sons of nobles are going to a Kalmakok instead, though. This is where they're learning the skills to become priests and government officials and military commander. So these are the two different schools for boys right there. All right, that's all I got for you. Guys, I need you to complete those reading notes, and I will go ahead and check them. Talk to you later.